All right, so this is a 95 4Runner, and today we are working on installing a trail gear, or in this case, All Pro bumper. You can see this is the AP 305/605. I like this one more than the regular trail gear one. I have a trail gear rear bumper. I just like the more low profile look, and I didn't want a huge stinger on the front and all that. This does have the plates in here. The filler plates, you can get it without these if you want less weight. And then of course it's got the winch mount down in there. So first off, let's talk about getting the old bumper off. So old bumper is pretty simple. You do have to pull your lights. Right now I've got mine just dangling. I'll have to figure out how I'm gonna wire these up. I'm probably gonna get some sort of a light or something that will just wire in here. Anyway, I'll figure that out later. You take your lights out on both sides, and then there's not really that many bolts. So you're gonna have 4 bolts, 2 on the insides of each one of these brackets. You can see 2 there and 2 down over there. And I believe those were 17mm head bolts. Those are gonna go up underneath here to the frame. And then you're also gonna have on each side of the bumper, there's gonna be these brackets that are like an L-shaped bracket. And that's gonna go right where this piece is that comes down off the fender. And you can see there's actually a little access hole through the fender liner, which is nice. These are gonna be 12mm head ones. There's basically, I'll show you the bracket over here that came off, if I can find where I set it. So here's one of the brackets that just popped off. You can see there's a piece that goes down into the bumper and a piece that goes up into the fender. And on both of these, mine snapped. You can see both snapped off on these, but it's not a big deal because you're not going to have to reuse those at all. Those are going to probably end up getting cut off as there's a bunch of extra stuff down here. So don't worry about that if that's what happens to yours. The rest of these came off pretty easily, honestly. Once you've got those brackets removed, then this whole entire thing comes off pretty easily. It's actually not too heavy at all. So that's the easy part. Now, talking about this bumper is a bit unique because there's 2 extra little mounting pieces. You can see it kind of coming down right here, these tubes, the long tube, the angle tube there, and there's another one on the other side. And these 2 actually mount up between where the body and the frame go. So you will have to take out, there's these long, and I believe they're 14mm as well. This is the bushing on the bottom end here, goes up. But there is a long through bolt that goes from the top down in there. See if I can try to get a picture in there. You can kind of see where that piece is going in, but there's a top through bolt that goes there. You put a 14mm wrench on the top, and then you put like a socket or an impact on the bottom, and then those bolts will come out. Now, I was trying to figure out how these are supposed to fit in on here, but as you can see, the only thing that I can figure out how to do is that these things fit on top. So it's kind of a pain because I could get one side in pretty easily with the bolt and get it lined up through there. It was a bit of a bear on this other side since these things are just a little bit off from each other. So as you can kind of see here, there was a combination of tricks going on here. I'm doing this by myself, so I need to keep the weight off the bumper and get it lifted up some. So you can see I'm just using a jack and a 2x4 to kind of get the weight off the ground or to keep it from dangling at least. And then I tell you, a pickle fork is probably one of my favorite tools ever. I was able to wedge a pickle fork onto that mount and then basically just use a heavy mallet to kind of knock this thing into place. And then I kind of got to a point where I had to start threading or sliding the bolt through on this top piece. It's really kind of hard to see. You actually can kind of see it there. So that's the bolt right there. And I had to basically kind of hold that in place while tapping on this mallet so I could get it to kind of vibrate itself then into place so I didn't strip the threads. So I'm not going to necessarily bolt this down just yet. You can see this is going to go back up into the body, and then there's a washer and nut that goes in the bottom. So that'll tighten all of that down. Next thing I need to do is drop this setup that I've got going on here with the jack. And then you can see there's holes here. And on the other side, that should hopefully line up once I take the pressure off of this. This is going to be another fun thing because they only give you 2 bolts and washers. So my guess is that these bolts and washers, you really only need 1 on each side. But depending on how easily this goes, there's a good chance I'm probably going to try to thread the other one in as well. So I'll check back in, and once I get that done, I'll let you know if there's any struggles. All right, bumper is on. Try to show you a few different angles of it. Overall, I'm happy with the bumper. The only thing that I just need to play with or talk to somebody about maybe doing some welding is to get this a little bit straighter. So it doesn't look so bad over here, but it's just a little bit off, meaning it's just a little bit leaned forward where I'd like it to be nice and level. It's definitely solid, and it's probably hardly noticeable, but it's something that I can see. And I think the reason why it sits this way is partly because this driver's side piece was such a bear to get on. But down here, and the hardware they gave in this kit was completely useless. I don't even know why they gave it to me. I happened to find some other threaded bolts that would fit in here, and the same over there. And it felt like the whole entire time I was pulling these in that I was just going to strip something. Didn't feel great. They definitely went in all the way, but I didn't really love how they felt. Definitely some tension on it. But if you look at it right here, I don't know what their plan was, but this plate is kind of straight up and down, and there's like a notch here in the frame, and I'm not quite sure if I'm supposed to notch this frame cross member that's there, you know, to make that fit flush, or what the deal is with that, because it does the same thing over here. But I kind of get the feeling that if that little lip weren't there, and I just don't know how much cutting, you can almost kind of see a little bit of the crookedness from in here. But yeah, that's my only complaint. Otherwise, it looks good. You've got some room for the shackles down here, which I forgot to order, so those will come. And I've got the winch bracket and everything ready to go. This thing's definitely solid. Obviously, I don't know, you know, how good it is for winching and for pulling and stuff like that, but with, you know, the bolts that's on there, I feel like it's all right. I think if I get someone to help me kind of level this out right, make it a little bit flatter and straighter, kind of tuck that chin in a little bit, I may go ahead and have like a couple tack welds done or something like that, stuff that I can maybe grind off down the way. But hope this video was helpful. I know when I was looking to install this, there was no videos out there whatsoever on it. So yeah, let me know if I missed anything and if you guys have had the same kind of issue with the fitment there.